Absalom defeat. Like we've said, this is the second of a two-part story about Absalom, his rebellion, his revolt, and now his defeat. Several things here that I want to point out. As we know, Ahithophel gave the right advice. He was a key man. Absalom should have listened to him. Hushai, he was a wise man, but he was out to get this young revolutionary. Ahithophel gave him the right advice. So why didn't he follow that advice? Well, there's two reasons. One is that the Scripture says that God put it in his heart to despise Ahithophel's advice and to go with the other counselor. Hushai did an interesting thing. He played on Absalom's pride. And that's the second reason. The thought of him riding head of the army and gaining a reputation as a great warrior of a mighty, massive army and defeating his father and coming back to Jerusalem, not only as king but as conqueror. Hushai knew how to play to this pride. And it's Absalom's pride. Like I've said elsewhere, Absalom made provisions for every situation and every problem except one, and that was his pride, which was his biggest enemy and is what brought him down. I said in one of the other insights, I talked about Joab and how he had put his reputation on the line to help this young man and to bring reconciliation between him and his father. I think now when you see him so angry, taking those spears and throwing them and running him through as Absalom hung there, even against what David wanted him to do. This is one time that Joab disobeyed his king. He was so loyal, he would never do that, but he had it out for this young man. He had done everything for him, and then he turned against his trust. One last thing in this story right here, I don't tell it in the story, but I think there's a little mini story that is really so interesting. It involves two young priests that are fast runners, a servant maid, a little boy, and a housewife. It's a story when Hushai needs to send a message out to David. He gives it to a servant girl who takes it out of the city and gives it to two priests who are fast runners. But a young boy sees this, and he's been assigned to look for anything that looks suspicious. So he runs to the king, Absalom, and tells him what he saw. King sends guards, so the priests come to the home, and the housewife puts them down in an empty well and puts a cover over the top and spreads some seeds like she's working on some seeds. The guards come and ask her, "Have you seen these two young men?" "Oh," she said, they went towards the water." Well, it was true. They went towards the water, but she pointed that way, went towards the water. So they ran on by. When all was safe, she uncovers the well, lets the men out, and they go on to David. Wonderful little story. We'll come back next week when we continue on with these story insights.